Hi guys, so today's job is repairing this back screen on this mini convertible. This is quite a common issue with this type of convertible where the back screen is bonded onto the motor. They all go eventually, most of them start at the bottom and then they work their way around. Some that I've had in have almost completely fallen out. There's just a bit at the top that's holding it in. This one's not too bad, it's just the bottom and just to probably a few inches up each side. So we've got some stability with the glass, so that's not really an issue. With a job like this, one of the most tricky things is getting pressure on the back screen from inside, because what I need to do this job is to be able to put pressure onto the glass from the outside and be able to bond the canvas back on. So I need to support the glass from the inside. So what I normally do is I cut a board the shape of the back screen, and then I find a way of supporting it from inside. So I'll put some supports in, bits of wood, whatever, foam stuffed in there, just to get pressure pushing from the inside. And then once I've done that, I can do the setup and get it all glued in place. So what you find a lot of the time is the canvas has come unglued here. So this part here is supposed to be glued down here. Now, it normally does come away at this point. So the first job is to glue that into position. Once that bit is glued into position, I can start prepping the screen for the bonding. So I'll glue this in position first, and then I'll tell you how I'm going to bond this. So I'm just going to use some contact adhesive and get it on to here. I'm going to clamp it into position. So I have just two strips of thin ply that I'm going to sandwich the canvas between, put some clamps on and then clamp it. I want it to be a really good bond at this point, because if it's not a good bond, then it's just going to come away again. I'll get all the clamps ready, get the glue, and then I'll start to put it on. I'm going to use my finger to put the glue on here, just because I can feel where the glue is, where I put the glue, and it's sometimes using your hands is the easiest way to do things. It's a bit messy, but sometimes you've got to put up with a mess to get a good job done. So I'll get on with that now. So I'm just going to tape this part of the screen at the bottom here. I don't want to get glue onto here. I'm just protecting the back of the car, just so I don't get glue on it. I'm just going to put the glue on now. So that should be enough glue on there. I'll now get rid of this glue off my fingers, let the glue go tacky, and then start to clamp it into position. So the glue's gone tacky now. I can start to just okay, so that's not stuck. So I'm just cleaning off this part here with some thinners, just to get the surface as clean as possible for gluing. So with jobs like this, sometimes it's actually tricky to find out what's the best glue to use. What I'm going to do, I'm going to warm that up and see what happens. Put a clamp on it. Sometimes companies use a heat activated glue on things like this. It may be heat activated. It does go more tacky when it's got heat on it. I'll leave that clamp on there for a few minutes and then see. So the glue that's already on this part here is heat activated. So I've just tried this little bit here and I've clamped it into position, and now it's completely glued. So I'm going to do this in sections. I'm going to do this bit first. I'm going to heat all this piece up, clamp it between the two pieces of wood that I've got here, like that, and then let it go hard, and then work along this edge here. So sometimes with jobs like this, it's finding out what glue works, if glue does work, and sometimes it's trial and error. So I'm going to warm this up, clamp it, and then once that's cooled, I'll move on to this side here and do the same. So let's see if that works. Hopefully it will. Yep, so that's worked perfectly there. So I'm going to move on to this bit here. Let's see if I can do it in one big piece. I may be able to. So this should have cooled enough now. I'll just take the clamps off. Yep, it's actually stuck the wood to the canvas a bit. So absolutely perfect. That is now completely glued down. So I'm happy enough with that now. So the next job on this is to support this back screen. You can see it's quite wobbly. So I have a board here that I used for an ODTT. So the board's a little bit oversized, but it'll do the job. I've attached some foam to it. I don't want the board to actually press on the glass and potentially mark the glass. It shouldn't do, but it's just a precaution. I'll go inside, I will put this behind the glass, and then I'll try and prop it into position. Before that, what I need to do is just release some tension off the hood itself. So I'll just release the hood, release the tension, and then I'll actually support the back screen. Once the back screen's supported, I clean the glass. There's a little bit of dirt actually on the glass. So I clean the glass off, get it as clean as I can. And there's a little bit of an area just here where the primer has come off the glass. So I'll support the glass, clean it, and then mask off this area here, put some primer onto this bit here, and then I can start to glue it in place, which is the messy bit. So I've released the tension off the hood, I've got the board in the back, and now I'm going to try and support it. Well, the glass is supported, that might be a little bit too much. Yeah, that might be a little bit too pushed out, that. But we'll see. No, I think I'm going to be all right with that. What I'm going to do once I've got the glass prepped and ready, I will put the adhesive in place. I'll tape the canvas, so I'll need to push this down, get the canvas in place, tape it into position all the way along, and then once I've done that, I'll use plywood to apply pressure onto the glass here. I'm going to use some rope on both ends and actually tie it to the wing mirrors, probably, and that will pull it into position and apply pressure at the same time. That's probably not wide enough, that piece. Check. So that piece will be just about wide enough to apply pressure. Yep, so that'll be fine, that one. So the glass is now clean. So this is pushed out a little bit more than I would like, so I'm going to adjust that now, and then I can do the next bit. So I need to apply primer to here. I'm going to mask off this part of the window. So this primer is just a glass primer that you get when you buy a kit for installing a window. Just using a cotton wool bud. The rest of the primer is completely intact, so I don't need to bother with doing it anywhere else. So I'll let that dry now. While that's drying, I'm going to mask off the canvas. I don't want the canvas to have the adhesive on it, so I need to mask that off. So once the primer's gone off, it'll be ready to have the adhesive applied to it. Now, the adhesive comes in a tube like this, but obviously for a job like this, you're not going to use all the tube. And the nozzle that is on the end of these tubes is a bit too big for the amount of adhesive that you need to put on something like this. You end up putting a hell of a lot more than you need to. So what I do is I just cut off the top of the tube, and I use just a little stick, and then I can apply it to the screen. Now the adhesive won't stick to the glass unless it's been primed, so I don't need to mask off the glass. What I'll do is, once I've got the canvas onto the glass and it's gone hard, and I remove all the tape, I'll then scrape away with a sharp blade and just cut away any excess adhesive that squirts out. So I need that, I'll need a knife, and I will also need some tape. So I just use duct tape. So the duct tape is to get it into position. Once it's in the correct position and it's been taped, I'll then apply the strip of plywood that I've got here and then tie it to the wing mirrors. The wing mirrors, in fact, on this it'll probably be the door handles. You have to find a spot on the car where it'll give you maximum tension and not adjust the height of the piece of wood. I will tape it into position first. So once I've taped the the hood canvas onto the glass itself. I'll then apply the strip of plywood. I'll tape that into position so it's not going to move, and then I will tie pieces of rope to the end of it, and then that will put pressure onto the glass and clamp everything together. Leave that for probably 2-3 hours. It's not a very warm day today, so it's probably going to be about 3 hours of this being into position before I can remove the plywood, get rid of all the tape, and then do any cleaning up that I need to do. I'll just give it a final check, make sure I can get this into position. Yep. Yep. So the trouble with this kind of job is, because this has been left for quite a while, the hood canvas now it's probably not the exact shape it should be. So it may not be in the correct position right in the very corners. It may be a little bit too long. They do kind of stretch over time if they're left to their own devices. So I will just see as we go along. Sometimes they're right. We're fine on this corner. We may be all right. Just need to make sure that I can put enough pressure on the glass. Yep. So it's just a waiting game now. Primer's nearly hard now. So what I'll do is I'll check the vehicle again, because the next stage is quite messy. Now for the messy part of the job. Put a head torch on for this, just so I can see what I'm doing a bit better. I need to get as much of this in here as possible, without getting too much in. Obviously, I don't want to put an absolute bucket load in. To be quite an even amount though, I don't want any high spots. Now I have to tape it into position. I can get rid of this. I need to tape this into position. So this is just now a case of tightening it up. So I'll do one end, then move to the other, do one end, move to the other, slowly tightening it up. So I also want this to be pulled down a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is just tie another piece. I'm going to try and get it to be in the boot. So stick it into the boot. So now we're putting maximum pressure onto the top and it's pushing against the glass. So now I just need to leave that for a few hours and then I'll take the tape off and see how it is. Hopefully it's in the right position and it's held. It should hold with the amount of pressure I've got onto this piece of plywood here. It's bending quite a lot, so it's following the shape of the glass. So I know it's touching all the way along this edge here. The tape here should be enough just to actually hold this part in place. So I just hope that the top hasn't moved against the glass when I've put this on. Sometimes it does. It shouldn't do, but I put enough tape on to hold it into position. So now the clamping pressure of this will not let it move. So if it's in the correct position, we should be fine. So I'll come back to you in a few hours when I'm ready to remove all the tape and then show you the result. I'll have to clean up all the adhesive that's on the glass, which won't be a problem. It's just a case of using a sharp knife blade and just going around the edge and then taking away any excess, any squeeze out, and we should be fine with that. So I'll see you in a few hours. Clean these hands as well. So I think it's been long enough now. I'm going to remove this. So I'll start at this end. So that's all the tape off. There's still a bit of residue of the masking tape here, but that'll come off when I cut away the squeeze out. All I need now is a Stanley knife. I'm going to cut away around the fabric and then just scrape away off the glass where the excess is here. So this is just a case of slowly cutting away the excess adhesive. That half done. I'll move on to the other half now. So we've got a little bit of a kink here in the cover. That may just pull out in a little bit when I retighten the hood and remove the support at the back here that I've put in. But most of the excess now is off. I'll just get a torch and have a proper look. So that's now done. I just need to remove the board that I've put behind the screen, give the glass a good clean, and then that'll be done. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a steam as well now, just to try and get any of these little creases out. They may not come out, but a steam will help anyway. Now I don't want to put too much heat along this edge here, just because that bond is a heat bond. So just trying to get some of these, I'm not sure if you can see here, we've got a few little wrinkles here, and the same on the other side. It was always going to be hard to try and get rid of these, just because it's always tricky when the cover has been away from the window for a while. It starts to become misshapen. So that's definitely helped with that side. I'll do the same with the other side. So there we have it. The window is now in and secure and is leak free. That should last quite a while now. Yeah, the joys of owning a convertible. So if you found that video informative, give it the old thumbs up. I hope you subscribed. If you haven't, then why not? And I hope to see you again. Thanks for watching. Bye.